wrestling has just been fascinating, and today was surprisingly newsy. Let's start with the American success angle, and we talked about this yesterday when Amit Alor won gold for Team USA, and then Sarah Hildebrand was back in the finals today. But the more interesting piece of news is what happened with Sarah Hildebrand's opponent, and her opponent was supposed to be Vinesh Phogat of India, who also had 3 matches yesterday and won all 3 to win her way to the finals. Well, what happened was Phogat actually missed weight this morning. So you're thinking, okay, what do you do when someone misses weight? It's a 2-day tournament, so they have to make weight both days. That is a change in wrestling. As we've said in previous years, they have had gone through the whole bracket in a single day like they do in judo and taekwondo. I think it was this way last time also. So you've got to make weight both days. So she is taken out of the finals, which makes sense. If you miss weight, you can't compete. But instead of just making it a forfeit and giving Hildebrand the gold, they actually put in the last wrestler who lost to Phogat in the semifinals, which was Yunelis Guzman of Cuba. And so this wrestler who thought that she was going to be, I guess she thought she'd be in the repechage and going for a bronze medal, ends up in the finals. I read later, I forget who had this, but Sarah Hildebrand, when she heard the news that Phogat had missed weight, she celebrated for an hour thinking that that meant she had won gold. She was like calling family and freaking out and thinking she's the Olympic champ. That's what happens at other tournaments in the US, like the NCAA championships and some other wrestling tournaments people might follow. So she thinks she's the champ and then finds out that actually, no, you have a match. And she did win. She won the match 3-0, and it was not, 3-0, it's tight, and she had to go the whole 6 minutes, but it was never really in doubt, I'd say. But I'm just fascinated by this decision because Phogat earned her way into the finals with 3 wins and was, at the end of the day yesterday, you would have said she's guaranteed a silver medal. They did not give her the silver medal. Guzman, who lost yesterday and was lucky enough to be on the same side of the bracket as someone who missed weight, ends up getting a silver medal instead of a bronze. And Phogat gets nothing. And I gotta tell you, like, I understand, hey, there's rules and you gotta follow the rules. I don't think I'm feeling this one. I was thinking about, like, other scenarios where this could have played out. Like, what if somebody in Phogat's position, if instead of missing weight, what if she'd broken her shoulder yesterday or torn an ACL and been injured? Would she have not been eligible to win a silver because she had a big cast on her arm, or was in an air cast on her leg or something, or she was in the hospital and had to have surgery or fluids or whatever and couldn't make weight? Like, it feels like she earned a silver medal for her performance yesterday. And I guess, the devil's advocate on the other side, you could say, well, it's a 2-day tournament and you have to make weight both days to qualify and finish. But it just feels like they took a silver medal away from someone who had already earned it. And I don't think that one sits right with me.
Yeah, so you had tweeted a link to a Daily Beast article that laid out a lot of the facts here. And one thing that was in there that I found the most interesting was apparently she missed weight by about 100 grams, which again, we're running into metric system issues here, but that's 3.5 ounces. That's like, it's like a bag of potato chips. Like, I can't believe, I mean, like, and like, not like after you eat a bag of potato chips, you gain 3 grams. I mean, like the weight of the chips when you buy them at the store, right? So yeah, I think that it's so minuscule. And they said that she was like running and bicycling and jumping rope and in a sauna, like all night long, trying to lose this weight, because the part of it is, you obviously, like, you cut weight for the weigh-in and then you gain it back, right? It's usually by dehydrating yourself, right? And so then they consume, obviously they're eating and they're drinking liquids and they're getting IVs, and then they get back up, and then the next day she has to get back down, right? So that proved to be very difficult for her. And it's also incredibly dangerous. Can you imagine, like, being up all night, exerting yourself like that? The thing I always think back to, there's a video from years ago of the MMA fighter Chris Cyborg trying to make weight, and she's like in a bathtub trying to, like, they have like blankets on her and she's like convulsing. It's horrible. It's again, it's like years old, but it's always stuck with me about like the kind of things that these athletes do to try to make weight, and it's just, it can't be good for your body. And so so you feel for the Indian wrestler here who had to go through hell and then didn't even end up not only not getting to fight, but not getting to get even a consolation medal. So it was a really terrible situation overall. I guess you understand why they ruled the way they did, but yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, and I'll say, like, and the cutting weight part, that is normal, and I'm glad you mentioned a previous example. That is a part of the culture, and I'll say, like, I wrestled, and I've been in situations where you have to make weight multiple days in a row. Obviously, I'm not saying I was anywhere near the Olympic level, and I would never claim that, but I have been around wrestlers, and I've covered college wrestlers at the NCAA championships, and that's a normal thing because, like you said, you weigh in early in the day, you weigh in once, and then you rehydrate yourself, and you drink, water and Gatorade or whatever, and you eat, and then you have your whole day. And so it's normal that when you're in a multi-day tournament, you then have to cut weight again. And a lot of times it's water weight. And so being in a sauna or running or, cycling like she did is normal. So it's a normal part of the sport. Normally they don't miss weight on the second day, especially at this level and when you're that good and when there's that much on the line. So I don't know what happened. I don't know her exact case, how much she had to cut weight the day before, like how much she was down on that first day, although it didn't affect her performance because she still won 3 matches. And I don't know if she did anything out of the ordinary during the day when she was rehydrating on that day. But yeah, I mean, when you say, like, what else could you do? I mean, they could have ruled it a forfeit. I've seen many tournaments where someone it's ruled a forfeit and somebody wins. And I get that's anticlimactic for the Olympics to have someone show up and just get their hand raised on a forfeit and take a gold medal without wrestling for it. But that happens in plenty of tournaments. And, like I said, like, what if something else had happened? It's just, it's an interesting rule. And I don't know, we'll see if they take a look at it. But Guzman, like, I guess if you are going to put someone in, like, she earned it. She made it to the semis, and it's what converted what would have been a bronze into a silver. So, I feel for her. And I'll also say, like, this should not overshadow what Sarah Hildebrand did at all. She was a bronze medalist last time around and came back and got gold. And you've got to beat whoever they put in front of you. And, Guzman had a chance to win that match yesterday against Phogat. So it is what it is. It was just a bizarre situation.